you have to keep preparing yourself. Like just wait for a chance. You never know when it's come to you, and I think failure sometimes is another beginning of your success. Like just don't keep yourself down. You have to bring yourself up to face any challenge.
This is Andrian.
And this is Ray. Welcome to the Talk Live podcast.
Every 2 weeks, we'll invite a new guest and
In every session, we'll dig into their life, relationships, and perspectives.
one question at a time.
Let's talk live!
Yay.
Welcome to the Talk Live podcast. This is your co-host Ray, and today I think we're very, very fortunate to have Lok. I call him Lok Zai, and before he does an introduction of himself, his story, basically why I asked Lok to come to the podcast because he has a lot of experience or a very interesting childhood and then led on to a very fruitful professional athlete career as a goalkeeper, right? As a footballer. And after that, he actually pivoted into the industry of insurance. So I think today we are very, very fortunate to have a mindset of an athlete. And then after that, he branched out into different things. And that's why I actually invited Lok onto this podcast. Yeah. And you might be wondering, okay, Ray, you're from the technology industry. In UST, there is no people actually studying sports, etc. So how did we actually meet, right? So it's actually a very interesting story, right? I mean, before you do your introduction, so I think Lok and I, we met actually on Uber. So Lok was my Uber driver.
Yeah.
And why, I don't get me wrong, I don't normally talk to my Uber drivers. It's just that Lok made a lot of wrong turns and he was swearing. He's like, fuck. all this kind. And that's why I was like, come down. 其實我都唔係好趕時間嘅，係啦.
Yeah.
And because of that, then Lok was pretty chatty. I asked, oh, where are you from? And then that's how I actually understood that he's an athlete. And back then, it was the Olympic season in Hong Kong. And I think a lot of young people are actually inspired to be the next gen athletes in Hong Kong. And I was like, Lok, you want to come on the podcast to talk about that? And that's how, Lok and myself were here today. So yeah, passing the mic to you, Lok, right? Can you share briefly about yourself, what you currently do, and how you ended up in where you are today? Yeah, your whole journey.
Yeah, of course, Ray. I'm not a professional Uber driver, obviously. Yeah, and I do Uber because I bought a car and I have to go everywhere to meet client or meet people. So I usually have a 2 trip a day to set a location to go over the harbor and go back and earn some money from the turnover. And that's how we met. And I'm a goalkeeper in my football path, and I grow on a professional team academy, and I trained 5-6 a week and have a match on the weekend. That's how I grow. And I go to US to study college and play college football after my academy. Yeah. And I got scholarship in college football, and that helped me to have some help for my education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so first of all, congrats on in the past getting the full scholarship to actually practice football professionally, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to understand was it something that you always wanted to do? That you wanted to become a professional footballer, especially growing up in Hong Kong. I think that's quite rare, right? That people will think about that they actually want to be, I don't know, what's that guy, Cristiano Ronaldo or etc. Right? So was it I picked out you just play football 5 to 6 times a week, and then you got good, and then how did you transition from just playing football to thinking about you want or you're good enough to get a scholarship and then do this full time?
That's a good question because I was actually a very bad player when I was 13, 14, and I was a striker actually. I'm not a goalkeeper. Yeah, and because when I was, I think, 14, and I grow, I got 165 height when I was 14. That's a very tall standard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my coach told me to give up. You're not playing striker, you go goalkeeper. That's have a better future for you. And I starting to try this position, and I trained for 1 to 2 years. I get into the national team youth squad to train, and that in that moment, I feels like I may be good enough to play professional, because I go national team and all this experience, like I feels like I'm one of the top level player, like I in that level. So I starting to think to play in professional when I was 15, 16, and and also I play in professional academy. So like I train a lot, and my level is going higher. And when I was 18, I got my first offer from U.S. college. So I was like, oh, let's go to explore the world, and I want to know how's the level outside Hong Kong. You know, in Hong Kong, you don't usually go to a trip to play football, right? And like, for me, yeah, I think it is a chance for me to get out here and try, because if you do this on like 28, 29, you won't got any chance. You always you can only have chance when you're young enough. So I decided to go US and start my college football.
Got it. So it's actually quite interesting. So you never really had the idea that you wanted to be a full-time footballer, right?
No.
It's like you train, you have fun, and then because of the coach, they gave you some advice that, hey, you have potential. Okay, you're a striker, but then like, okay, you were one of those early shooters or early spotters, right? That you had the advantage to grow, and then like because of that, you actually became a goalkeeper and end up being quite or very good at that, and people noticed that. And then you started feeling like like from what I heard is like you thought you were never good enough. But slowly you gain confidence, and then I think the turning point was when you get the scholarship, right? And then that's when you decided that you could go full time. Was that the turning point?
Actually, I think that's true. Yeah, that's the first time I get something from football, right? Yeah, I got some scholarship money from football, and that's the time I think I may be able to go professional. And at that time when I was in US, beside the college there's some break time, right? Like summer break, winter break, and I got chance to trial in different country, like Canada, like Spain. In Spain I go Espanyol, like La Liga, League 2 team, and it's very impressive team and famous team. And actually I feel that the level between me and the players there is not huge difference. There's some gap between us, but the level is like similar, I think. So in that time I feels like, no, I gonna take this. I gonna go professional. And like and my attitude changed, I think, because in the past in training I be maybe more lazy, and that's the first time I feel I have to chase something. So I changed my attitude. I work very hard in every training, and at the end, I got some chance to go overseas, and or all right, let's try. Yeah, that's how I turning a professional footballer.
Like really dive headfirst in to really focus on it. But I just want to pick your brains on this part, right? Like, because in Hong Kong, doing sports is actually very unconventional. I think right now, with the great success of the recent Japan or Tokyo Olympics, right? A lot of young people actually start to feel like, oh, there is hope and everything. But I think especially when because back then there was not much success, yet, right? So from your side, because even though you felt like, okay, that's something you want and you dive headfirst in, did you have any struggles from your parents, or let's say other people, your friends? They actually look at you and then like, oh, why you spending so much? Obvious, and it's also very hard to balance, study and also your trainings at the same time. So just wanted to understand, like, how you went through that and still in the end make it.
And I think first, how did I between study and become a footballer, there's a long way to go. Because when I was in college, there's a road trip when we are doing a away game and home game, right? And I have to travel like 8 hours by bus, or I have to fly sometime. And at the same time, in the college, there's a lot of work to do, like assignment, like homework, every stuff, like projects, like especially in the end of the term, like a lot of homework. Everyone get a computer and type on the bus. That's how we get through it. And we study on the bus. Like I spend like mostly the bus or airplane is my library.
Okay.
Like that's how I finish my degree, and at the same time I play football.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the time we use is travel or food or training. Yeah, we don't usually have time to actually study. Yeah, and my grade is pretty bad. Yeah.
Wait, so this was your time when you like post scholarship, your time in the US, or this was your time in Hong Kong?
Oh, when that's in US.
Okay,
US, yeah.
okay, got it. And yeah, I was just gonna make a point that I think athletes that juggle between studies and also their full-time sport. I always think like you guys are very smart to be able to still pass your university and at the same time accomplish so much.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to just get your jobs done. Like you just follow everyone what they do, like in school, and the same time you spend others the time other than that, other than study, just put in football, and that's how I get. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, can you just like, because I think a lot of people are actually new, they never actually had the chance to speak to professional footballers.
Yeah.
But just share briefly what your daily life or some of your achievements that you felt was like worth highlighting to the audience, and then what's the takeaways before we move into because we know that currently you're not a footballer, right? Yeah.
Oh, for me, actually, what we do in a professional footballer is we usually have training once to twice a week. Usually, our training is harder on Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, especially the month. We usually played on Sunday, right? And we have off on Monday, and we come back on Tuesday, Wednesday, and twice training a week, a day on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday to Saturday is preparing for the game. And usually we wake up and training at 10, and then until 1 o'clock we go back for lunch, and then we do whatever we want to do. Mostly I will go to rest and play some TV game.
Oh, not study?
Not study. No, because when I was playing full-time footballers,
alright.
I only play football. I don't have to study already.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mostly what we do. And that's we don't train like 8 hours a day like other sport, because football you need to recover. Recover time is very important. Like there's some players always go drinking. You heard about in other country, right? And they end up like they're really fucked up, right? Yeah, we need many times to recover, and that's what we do usually. Training, recover, eat. Yeah,
Okay,
that's all.
got it. And really dedicating your life for the sport, right? And that's something that I really admire on full-time athletes, because and that's why I also want to touch upon because you dedicate your life and the structure of your life. I would say how your trainings have to be like, your life have to compromise your trainings and also your match, right? So that creates your whole life you're actually all about training for that match or your performance on pitch. So I want to ask, as an athlete, right? Do you ever have the self-doubt or a lot of disappointment or stress, right? Because you train a lot, right? Of course, recovery is a thing, but you dedicate, your whole life for something like that. And is it very stressful being on the pitch when a lot of people are watching you and stuff? I just want to get some of that.
Actually, I don't get many times to play when I was playing professional, because there's many reasons. I go to one of the best team, but I don't get chance to play, and I really want to play and have to train hard every training. I was stressful because I want to play, like, not only be on the team, right?
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
and I was depressing because I come here to play. Why the coach don't let me play and like stuff like that? Yeah, that's always on my mind. But at the same time, I know that I have to train hard to fight for my place. So that's the struggle. Like you have to balance your mentality. Like at the night, especially at the night, you always think, right?
Yeah.
You always think, and you have to adjust. Just keep positive. Like if you're a lot positive enough, you're done. Like you go practice with stressful
Yep.
mind, and you train bad, and
Yep.
it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way you get through is it be positive anytime.
Yeah. We always preach a lot that, mindset
Yeah.
is everything. And
Yeah.
I guess it applies to, not just athletes. And I
Yeah.
think you can share more about, like, how you take this mindset into what you currently do. And I think being on the bench is, stressful. Of course, it's great to be part of the team, but I think it applies to everything. Yeah. So this was your time when you were in US? It was more in US, right? Because I think in Hong Kong you were in.
Yeah, in Hong Kong also.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Got it. Yeah. And just one last question about football before we jump into other things. It's like people always have the impression that being a goalkeeper is
Just standing in the goal.
exactly. So how like is the training the same, etc.? Yeah. What's training as a
Yeah.
goalkeeper differs from a striker, defender, midfielder, etc. Yeah. Just help us demystify what the training of a goalkeeper is.
Yeah, okay. So people always say goalkeeper is crazy. Like if you're not a crazy guy, you're not a goalkeeper. You're not a good goalkeeper. Yeah, because that's true because we always separately training. We're not training with the team most of the time. So player have shooting, passing, like
Okay.
some drills defending, tactics, some drills like that. But goalkeeper we separately. We do with a goalkeeper coach, and the only person we talk is 3 goalkeeper in the team with a goalkeeper coach. Yeah, that's all. So we don't really talk to other players much as the other. Yeah, and we are separate. So that's why like we are weird, kind of weird.
The special
to some,
ones. The
yeah,
special
the
ones.
special one. And in training we always do some catching, diving, some stuff like that. And we will match the player. Like when we do the 11-11 tactic, and we will join the team. That's all. So mostly we always do personal training. Yeah.
That's very cool. I mean,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. I think that's the first time I really understand that. Okay, it's you guys are part of the team.
Yeah.
And I always thought because a lot of times like goalkeeper when they're out, they are the default captain, right?
Yeah.
They are number 1, and then they wear the captain badge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting that you guys train on your own, and thanks for sharing that.
And especially goalkeeper, usually people will say they're overconfident about themselves. I think just because our position, like you have to be very confident to save every balls.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're not confident enough, like you're not good enough.
Yeah, I can understand.
Most of the
Yeah.
time, I don't know why. Like, so, yeah, people say goalkeeper is crazy. They're overconfident. They're weird.
Strong mindset too.
Yeah.
Right? And I think goalkeeper is like important, right? Like a lot of time, like people like like sometimes if the other team is like really good, and then if the goalkeeper is really good, it's very hard to like go in a goal. So
Yeah,
I think,
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just I think just to wrap things up on your career as a full-time footballer, right? Can you share which league you played in Hong Kong, and then why you decided what happened? Because I know like so just to give more backstory to the audience, right?
Yeah,
COVID happened and all, so that sort of changed Lok's current position, and he's at a very different place to where he was 1-2 years ago. So
Yeah,
I just want
yeah.
you to cover a bit more on that side.
So which team I play in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was in US, let's say how I come back to Hong Kong
Yeah.
first. So when I was in US, I play Naples United in Florida, which is a US Division 3 team, and I got couple offers not only in Hong Kong but also in Argentina. like second division. And the reason I come back to Hong Kong is I already played for 3 years in overseas. I want to let people see my change, and I want to come back to show people I change and I improve a lot, like stuff like that. And the first team I joined in Hong Kong was Dream FC, and um, I signed a contract with them on April. It's a very interesting story, I think. Yeah, I signed a contract with them on April, and the preseason is on July. So my plan was let's finish the US season, and I come back for another preseason. Yeah, and when I come back, once I go down, get off the plane the second day, and the coach call me and say, "Oh, we don't got enough support, and the team have some financial problem. We don't have any sponsor, and the team is not going to extend this year." And I was like, "What the heck?" Like, I give up many choice to come back to Hong Kong and trying to play first professional team in Hong Kong, and it was very frustrating, because the professional team is like this. Every team have a squad before the preseason, right? Like it's very hard at that time, just right before preseason, to find another team, because every team have a full squad. Like not because I'm not good enough, because they have enough players.
You already bet on this particular squad, right?
Yeah, they have enough player already. So I was very frustrating, and I have hard time to find a new team to stay with, and I think it's kind of like fucked up at the at that time.
Okay.
So
And how old were you back then? This time?
22, I think. Yeah, and I was I don't know what to do, and I just keep go try out. I just test the coach, different team. I just test my situation, and I want a trial, and and I just keep go trial every team, and every team just the same report. You're not like you're not bad, but we want you. We don't have space. Like, we will consider at the half of the season. So I wait. I just keep waiting, and keep training in the gym, and that's mostly what I do. And just 2 days before the transfer window closed, there's a team called RNF. They signed me. I went trial like a month ago, and they say the same thing. Yeah, you're good, and we want you. Low space, stuff like that. And why they will sign me just before the window closed? Because they have a goalkeeper injury, like ACL problem. They broke the goalkeeper broke the ACL. They need a replacement for third goalkeeper. I was like, okay, let's do it. Yeah. This team is a very rich team. Is one of the best team in Hong Kong.
So it's better than your first offer, right?
Yeah, the first offer was I think is like in 10 team is like 8, the 9th place, and this team is top 1 to 2 team. Yeah, so I don't know if it's lucky or not to get this offer. Yeah, so I joined this team after all this stuff. Yeah, that's how I start my first professional contract in Hong Kong.
And how long did you play for RF?
Actually, I don't play any minutes in the first team.
Okay.
Mostly I spend my time in reserve team.
Okay.
Yeah, but I signed a first team contract, and I train most of the time with them. And as a third goalkeeper, the only thing you have to do is wait, like other people injury or like suspension to play. Unfortunately, I don't have I don't the players is healthy, and they don't suspend, and I just be prepared all the whole season.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to share this perspective, right? I mean, you played quite world class already, and then have like a full scholarship to go US.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it shows like this industry is not something that everyone can do, right? And sometimes like you're good, but sometimes in that particular team you are like the third person. Yeah. And you go through, even though you go through all the training, etc. But then like you still very hard to be, because if you're not the first goalkeeper,
choice,
then you never always like go unless like shit happens, and then and I think like just to give credit to a lot of other athletes, right, that are part of the substitute team, those people that actually, that's why like a lot of athletes, when they actually congratulate, of course they congratulate, it's due to their hard work and dedication,
Yeah.
but it's actually the whole team, the
Yeah.
coach, the substitute, the
Yeah.
second team, the nutritionist, you know,
Yeah.
people that help them with the cross train. So I think just to give perspective to, you know, people that actually want to go into full-time athlete or professional athlete,
Yeah.
that what you see on the TV, on the news are really, you know, a sub percentage of people. And you really have to, like, from what I'm hearing, it's like sometimes, like, that's why it's important to do something that you really like and find fulfillment.
Yeah.
Because whether you can make it or not, at least you feel like that's something, that's your calling, you find passion in it.
Yeah, and I feels like that's what I learned from pro footballer. Like you never know when is your chance. Like your life is never stable. Like you have to like when no one's seeing you your talent, you have to work harder than others. So when the times come, you show your talent and you get what you get. That's how it's work. Like not only in football but also in any other industry. I think that's important for me.
And you have to have like a very positive mindset, and
Yeah.
also not just positive, right? You need to know that this is a team sport.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then like you know where you add value to the team, and
Mhm.
when they need you, that's when you show time. But you
Yeah.
have to go through the whole process. Okay,
Yes.
so I think shifting gears, like we know that you played professionally for a period of time. So
Yeah.
you joined like one of the elite teams in Hong Kong, best
Yeah.
of class.
Mm-hmm.
But why are you doing what you do now, which is leading an
Insurance.
insurance team, right? I
Yeah,
think this is
yeah.
a very interesting perspective of, you know, someone that train and dedicate his life
Yeah.
into something like a goalie or a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And then what triggered, you know, that changes, and when you decided to make the switch?
I think it's all about COVID. Yeah, when COVID, you know, in Hong Kong, like is the policy is going crazy, right? Like all the football pitch
Oh, yeah.
closed and the Premier League shut
All
down.
stopped, right?
Yeah, and the many teams like they don't pay, like they stop paying the player, and like everyone just don't know what to do like at that time. So for me I think and my contract like and my club have the same fortune again. A club running out of money, low sponsor, and the team closed. Like I don't know why it will happen in one of the best team in Hong Kong, but it just happened to me, and I have to find a way to change. Right?
Yep.
I need money. I need to still fight for my life, not only football because no one is playing football in that time, right? And for me, my friend in industry in insurance like talked to me and like, oh, I think you have a good how to say good chance to play to do in insurance. You have a talent like you
So you have potential in.
Yeah, I have potential.
They see potential in you.
yeah
Okay.
that's what
Oh, I
want
didn't
to
know
say.
this. Like someone saw, you know, potential, and then that's
Yeah.
how you got into this.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah. At first, I was like, oh yeah, let's try. Like, I have nothing to do anyway. Like, I every day staying home anyway. Yeah. So first, that's how, that's it's funny how I get into this industry at first, but I think I learned in the class, right? For the product, for all stuff like that, and actually, I find why I want to become an insurance agent. Yeah, because when I was young, right, as athlete, you have a lot of injury, and my family is a more traditional family. They don't buy insurance, they don't do stuff, right, and uh, I got like pretty serious injury when I was 18, no 17, yeah, and in a Hong Kong team training, and I broke my ankle. No, I didn't. I broke the tendon of my ankle, and it's swelling a lot. Like, and I just go home and ice it, and another day just go back to training, and I don't even know I broke it because I have no insurance coverage. I don't go to a doctor and see what can I do, because I don't have money to do it. And yeah, and just leave it like that. And but like 2 months later, it's still like an egg on the ankle. So I go to a hospital and see what happened. And yeah, I broke my tendon. I go MRI. And there, if you need to do a surgery, no,
A scan or what? A surgery?
a scan or surgery,
Yeah.
you need to wait like 2
Oh
years.
yeah, because it's public hospital, right?
Yeah, public hospital, like 1 to 2 years. That's almost fuck up my career, right? And if you go to private hospital, you need to pay like 200K, 15K to do a surgery or stuff like that. And my family won't afford it. So yeah, I just but I was lucky because I got injury in Hong Kong team training. And they have something can do, like I can go to a physio. And I find out that I don't have to like necessary to do the surgery. I have to I just ice it. I just or just keep training the muscle around, and I can recover. So that's kind of lucky to me. And I feels like, yeah, I think not only athlete need insurance, and also the public. How about this time, if not only injury, like, or you get sick, you can, like, you don't really you can, you have family to take care, like you can't go to work, like what will happen is more serious problem, right? So at first, because of my injury, and I feel the insurance is important. And yeah, that's how I get into the industry at first. Yeah.
Okay, that's I pick up some important points.
Yeah.
So number one is like okay, actually if COVID didn't happen,
Yeah.
you would probably still be doing a full-time
Yeah,
football,
exactly.
because it's still your
Yeah.
passion, right?
Yeah.
And
And I think
what-
I will
yeah.
got some offer after this team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's interesting. Like like when shit happens, or whatever opportunities, or bad times, there's always gonna be some sort of opportunity that comes to you, right? So
Yeah.
I think you are the perfect example that okay, this whole football industry. I mean, even such a big club, like one of the top three, right? You were mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and COVID happens.
Yeah.
Who saw COVID? Who knew COVID would have such a big impact,
Yeah.
right? And it also shows like, oh, how much run rate these kind of clubs actually have. The moment that they cannot sell out tickets to the view, no sponsors, and then you realize that, oh, actually very fragile, and they cannot take care the players,
Yeah.
which is the lifeline of a football club. Without players and everything, a football club won't be functioning as it is.
Yeah.
And they're willing to forego. That means like
Yeah.
they pretty much dried in terms of the run rate and no reserve, and that led you to new doors, which I think you did whatever that you could, right? You were Uber, I guess you were Uber back then already, and then you had friends that saw potential in you.
Yeah.
So I think another takeaway that I saw was like, okay, sometimes you don't know who. Yeah.
When is the chance?
Yeah, and then people, it's because based on people. A lot of opportunities came based on people that you've met in the past, your friends, and then I think just so happened one of your friends was in the insurance industry, and he obviously wants to recruit people.
Yeah.
But I think he saw potential, and you were very niche in the sports sector. And initially you were like not really into it, but then like I think through the trainings, learning about the thing, and then you internalize it to something that you thought can actually make an impact to young people,
others.
to
Yeah.
others, and that's why you led into that. So I think before we end episode 1, I think I want to, we normally ask this question to our guests. So from your whole journey, when you're young, going into professional football, and then pivoting because of COVID into the insurance industry, what's, some, one key takeaway, or some of the biggest learning that you felt that you wanted to share, that young people can actually benefit from it, from your your whole life experience so far?
I think you have to keep preparing yourself. Like, just wait for a chance. You never know when it's come to you. And I think failure sometimes is another beginning of your success. Like, just don't keep yourself down. You have to bring yourself up to face any challenge. Yeah.
I think that's very profound, very deep, right? You were saying.
Yeah.
I like how you say that, like, always be prepared
Yeah.
and always equip yourself
Yeah.
for not just today, like for future.
Yeah.
And you might not know what the future holds for you, but as long as you are constantly preparing for who you are,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because that's like a saying, right? Okay, good luck comes to people that are prepared for the opportunity. A lot of
Yeah, I
people
always
think like,
believe
oh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people say it's like, oh, luck comes to, oh, that guy's so lucky. But actually not. He's been always preparing. And I think, like, if I'm hearing, like, from your stories, I think you as an athlete, that kind of hone your mindset to always prepare, even though you're on the
Yeah,
bench.
I think so. Like if I'm not like that positive, I may not be like the place I'm right now.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even like think about, oh, I want to be a professional athlete.
Yeah, I wouldn't think about I will build a team in insurance. Like I don't have that like how to say,
Vision.
vision to do it.
Yeah.
I don't believe myself I can do it, so I won't try to do it, and I won't get the result like
Yeah.
where I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that with that, I think we'll wrap up first part with Lok. I think in part two, we'll really deep dive into his really trajectory in the whole insurance industry and how he start from zero to a team lead in just 1.5 years. So we'll cover more of that in part two. So if you found episode 1 helpful with Lok, please share to your friends, the community, or even family members, right? They might find this kind of stories, like if you want to be a full-time athlete. So hopefully Lok have shared some very insightful points. So with that, really thank you very much, Lok, for part 1.
Thank you.
And see you guys in
Alright, see you.
part 2.
Bye.
Bye-bye.